My name is Shekhar Kapur. I'm born and brought up in India. So I'm from India and I'm a film director. That's what I do. I started life here in England as an accountant and was always fascinated by film. And so I went back to India and asked people if they would let me direct a film, and everybody said no. So I was not trained, I was nothing. So I got a job as an actor. And I started to act in films badly first and reasonably after that. And I learned how to direct films by being a bad actor. And then I wrote my script and I went to a producer and I got the cast and I became a director. It was, when I look back, it was simple, but it did take about 10 years to do that. I got very interested in Asian cinema when I saw some of the first Chinese films that started. Farewell My Concubine was probably the first big Chinese film I saw, and I realized that there was a very special cinematic expressionism in Asian cinema that Chinese cinema had captured, and because it was a cinema of its own culture, whereas in Indian cinema, what's called Bollywood, it didn't, except for song and dance, it was trying to metamorphosize everything in the world into one melting pot, and it wasn't so attractive. So I decided actually to start making cinema that had roots in India. So that's how I started. My producers say to me, the problem with making a film with you, Shekhar, is you want to know what it's about. And I said, you know what, if I was 18, it was okay. But at my age now, I want to do things that are relevant. Otherwise, how do I make a film? I don't know how to make a film. So even when I take a film like Elizabeth, it was about, to me, Indira Gandhi's story. I was facing at that time, a lot of my friends were saying to me that we should all go public, we should become businesses, we're all famous filmmakers. And I would say, well, there's art and then there's business. And in the pursuit of business, you might lose art because you have to be ruthless in business and you have to be completely vulnerable in art. And then Elizabeth was exactly about that. It was about the ruthlessness of power as against the vulnerability of love and youth. So there was a lot of me in my struggle at that time that came into Elizabeth. Now, it doesn't mean that the story has to be that. I have to adapt the story to things that are churning in my heart or my mind at that moment. I wrote a story about the future, about a city that runs out of water. And it's a story and where water has now become a weapon of political and social control. So I've created a city that is a representation of the world as it exists now. And so when you look at it and you say, but that's exactly what happens. It's just put in such a way that it brings it to your attention. So it just takes out things that lie in the 5th page in a small column newspaper, and through the telling of the story of the characters, it puts it on the front page. And so you'll know, well, that's sex trafficking in Bangkok. Of course, we know it happens. Oh, I know about those kids. They're the kids of the favelas in Rio that the police keeps shooting because they're looking for water, but they look like that. No. So there are indications all over that this is what's happening elsewhere in the world. So wherever you're from, you'll find a way to find that's exactly what happens. The two greatest virtues of making a film are passions and patience. If you have passion, and do you have the ability to keep that passion going, it's like falling in love. When you fall in love, is your love the kind of love that has to be, that is impatient, and if 2 months it doesn't come to anything, you give up. Sometimes for years it doesn't come to anything. So is your passion so strong that it can survive disappointment, it can survive time, it can survive humiliations? Is it so strong that it can survive ridicule? If it is so strong, and then and only then you should think about becoming a filmmaker. The rest comes. The rest is technique. The rest, you actually, because it's a collaborative art, the rest you can ask your friends and people to come and help you, editing and camera and screenplay writing. But you've got to have the driving passion to tell a particular form and a particular story, something inherently that doesn't go away. It won't go away. And so you have to express it.